Ah, yes, the Edgelord anime keeps delivering. Of course, today we are talking about Failure Frame Episode 2. And yes, sir, we are keeping the edge on the edge with this one. I do know that some of you don't like these sort of edgy revenge plot anime, and I understand that. And for those of you that don't like it, I understand why you're dropping it. But for me, I absolutely love these sort of darker, grittier revenge edgy anime, and this one so far is doing a decent job of delivering what I want out of it. While the entire second episode was spent on Touka just going through the ruins and eventually getting out at the end, I do appreciate them actually spending an entire episode on this sort of initial leveling arc and having some mental developments, I suppose, along the way, instead of what shows like Arifureta did, which is basically just skip the entire thing, and wow, he's now powerful in some sort of quick montage. This is way better at building up anticipation and getting us more involved with the character for his future journeys from this point on. First of all, though, I do want to talk a bit about Touka's mental break, or whatever you want to call it, in this episode, as one major theme that the episode tries to sort of lock in is that, okay, Touka's finally broken now. Like, his mental is finally just shattered. He has sort of come to accept himself as not being this kind, sweet, loving, empathetic child that his aunt and uncle raised after they saved him from his parents, but that he's actually, at his core, this, dark, hideous, sociopathic, unempathetic, immoral, sort of killing machine that he developed personality-wise when he was being abused by his birth parents. I mean, okay, that's fine, I suppose, though I have some problems or some questions regarding how they made that come about. Because he has this realization when he's sitting atop this monster, and he has all these other monsters around him in a circle, and of course they're all paralyzed and poisoned and they're slowly dying. And that's when it comes to this realization that, I'm kind of immoral, I guess, because I'm killing all these monsters that can't defend themselves and it's a massacre and I feel nothing. But like, Touka, that's not that unreasonable. Like, these monsters are far from humanoid. They are trying to eat you, kill you, and dismember you into parts, I assume. So killing them is very justifiable self-defense in every single meaning of the word. I don't think you can at all make the inference here that you are just massacring them for fun. And especially because they are such different, unique monsters, and they are far from humanoid and sentient, and they are far from anything but killing machines, really. Ending these monsters' existence is not really something I would use as a vehicle for having our main character realize that, I'm actually just a sociopathic little lunatic that likes murder. Like, no, I don't think that's exactly how it works, but I understand why they wanted to do it, because, they of course wanted to have him have this visible breakdown of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just embrace my edgelord personality and go with it. And sure, I get why they wanted to have that in, to showcase that, yeah, he's different now. He's gonna approach things differently. I get the purpose of it. I just wish they would have done this in a different way. Maybe having him fight some sort of more humanoid thing, or fighting something that was maybe trying to run away, but he still killed it mercilessly. Or maybe a monster that had some sort of sentience that was begging for mercy, but still just killed it, right? Then you have more of a reason of, oh yeah, he is actually destabilized and he's mentally just broken down to be this full edgelord now, and he is doing things that might be considered immoral by many people. But what we were shown doesn't really show that at all, I feel. But, fine, I get it. You wanted to get that in, and it's serviceable enough. I'm not going to complain too much. Though, at the same time, even though he is claiming that, no, I'm not really an empathetic person, I'm not really kind, I'm just pretending from before. I mean, the second after he says that, he still just makes a burial mound for the killed adventurers that were massacred there, that the goddess sent there before, and pays his respects. And it's like, that's not something a sociopathic killer would do at all, ever, I would say. So clearly, you're not as far gone as you think you are. But fair enough, I suppose. At least he has some honor at the very least, though I would argue empathy as well towards people that are not dicks. But, still, he's gonna keep claiming that he is this super edgelord, so we'll see how it goes. I do like how they utilize that supposed mental break, though, and his now very edgelord personality and his acceptance of that in the boss fight at the end of the episode with the so-called Soul Eater. And you know what they say, overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. And indeed it is, because Touka utilizes this very well by fainting himself to be in despair and crying and breaking down and begging for mercy, which he expects this Soul Eater will eat up, literally. And while the Soul Eater is so entertained and so certain of victory that he's just playing with his food, that is when Touka comes to strike, because he wasn't able to, of course, as you know, attack him beforehand directly because this monster had insane defensive skills and reaction time, but lowered its guard because it was so certain of victory. Again, overconfidence. You know how it ends. And I do like him using that sort of strategy, this feint, to kill the boss monster, not only because it's a bit more entertaining than just him sort of going in there, paralyzed, poisoned, done, and having it be more of a fight, but also because it, again, builds into this sort of mental break he supposedly has had, and how he's now just manipulating and acting in a more sociopathic way in this scene. And on the flip side of that as well, yes, I do also like how they handle the boss fight with the Soul Eater, that these other adventurers, especially the most powerful dark hero ever seen, who couldn't kill him, it was nice to see that he just couldn't go in there and just one-shot him, that he had to actually use his wits and devise a clever strategy to defeat him, because he isn't that OP yet, that he can just walk in there and just win. I do like that. Not making it super just, oh yeah, he walked in, poison, done, killed. That does still sort of make him feel like, yes, of course he's very powerful, but he isn't just insanely unkillable OP yet. So that was nice to see. And of course, when the souls became free at the end there with the boss fight, and him having this moment of being cheered on and congratulated by the dead people before him there, like, sure, it was nice. And then, of course, him becoming free and walking out, inevitably into the elf that's waiting by the ruins for some reason, hiding from someone. Information pending. Now, next here, I do want to talk a bit about the skills and leveling and mechanics that they introduced here. So apparently, you can't use the same skill on the same target twice. I'm not sure if there's a cooldown on that, or if it's just one and done, period. Though I suppose when the skill are strong enough, it won't really matter because once will be more than enough for any target anyway. And apparently when he killed one monster, a single one, when he was out of MP and almost dying, a single kill got him to level 258. But the second kill only got him to 277. So the scaling here for XP is clearly pretty hardcore per level. And of course it also shows that he is clearly not in any starter area, to say the least, considering these XP pinatas. Now this of course eventually leads him into having leveled up and now being powerful to be able to kill these monsters, but he is starving and he is dying of thirst. He even tries to eat a monster eye, which is apparently made of acid. That doesn't sound fun at all. Though it does show his desperation, I suppose. But at that exact moment, conveniently, the unique item he got, this bag, produces a cola and what, jerky or chips? I guess human food, though not the most filling food, but okay, I guess it works. Of course, the question there is, how does this work? Even the MC says, okay, how does this work? He doesn't know. And the goddess explained in episode 1 that, yes, this item, this unique item that you have to get because every hero gets one, it just produces light when you pour magic into it. So why is it now suddenly producing food and a drink? I guess it was a hidden mechanic that wasn't revealed before now, and it was supposedly very weak, but I suppose it might be much more powerful, or versatile rather, than first thought. Though I don't know why the goddess would know this, as I feel she would be all-knowing if she created these items herself, or I guess she found them? I don't know. Anyhow though, it is convenient how he got food and drink when he needed it, though I suppose it might be explained by that this pouch creates items when they are most in need, and some sort of intense, immediate need for him to have it, and want to have it, sort of made the pouch make it? I don't know. Hopefully we get more explanation of why that happened, because it must have happened more than once as well, because it does seem like with some slight time-lapse shown in the episode, he was there for, what, a week probably? Or at least some days, so he must have had more than one beef jerky and cola in that time. But again, hopefully, you get introduced or explained to why exactly this pouch works the way it does. But yes, the XP farm in this episode was very nice. I mean, if I could farm XP like that, just paralyzing and poisoning every monster inside without having to do anything, yeah, that sounds nice to me. I'll take it. That is my kind of MMO gaming, I have to say. Now, if you haven't made it this far in the video, do please remember to like and subscribe. It greatly helps out the channel, so thank you, thank you. Now, next here, I do want to talk a bit about world building, because we do learn some interesting things. So first of all, of course, we learn that yes, the goddess, as we already know, sends the weak heroes to these ruins. But not only useless heroes, she apparently has also sent, at least as far as we know, the dark hero, the supposed strongest hero ever, to this place after he was done being useful. And we see him at the end of the episode being an old man, so clearly long after he was summoned. Potentially he was seen as a threat by the goddess, and she sent him there forcefully. Which also showcases how powerful the goddess is, if she could forcefully send the strongest hero ever to the ruins by force. Anyhow, that does raise the question of, okay, so does the goddess send every hero there to these ruins after they're done with the mission they have? Does she actually send them back? Why did this dark hero remain in this world if he was not sent back initially after defeating the demon lord at the time? Did he want to stay there, but then the goddess saw him as a liability and then sent him there? Not quite sure how that is supposed to work, but I'm interested to know why exactly he was sent there and how many others have been sent there before, if the goddess treats this big ruin as some sort of disposal area for all heroes, old and new, that she doesn't find useful anymore. It would be interesting and whatnot if we find out later that, yeah, every single hero that's ever been summoned actually gets sent here after they're done with their mission. That would be some evil goddess schemes, all right. We'll have to see, though. But yes, these big rooms, too, we see in the episode. Like, we get the MC saying room 25. So there are at least 25 rooms, probably more, in these sort of upper levels of the ruins before we get to the Soul Eater boss room, I suppose. But what are these rooms? Why are they there? Like, they apparently are activated by magic, and you're pouring mana into the keystones to open it and lock it, I suppose. But why are these rooms here? Like, were they some sort of storage rooms back in the day when the ruins were not ruins? And then they were just used as some sort of refuge for these heroes in their final hours? Or why are they here? I mean, what purpose do these rooms serve? I don't know, but I would like to know more about that as well, just for world building's sake. I did also have the question at the time of, okay, so if the strongest hero was so strong, how come he died here too? And how is our MC going to tackle that and be strong enough to get out? And again, as I mentioned earlier in the episode review here, yes, they did handle that well in terms of them not showing him be more powerful than the Dark Hero, but just being smarter and handling the Soul Eater in a different way. It is interesting, though, when they introduce these things that the Dark Hero had. For example, him having this spell book, which I suppose is going to be useful for medicine and magical items down the line, but also him saying, him having some sort of ace up his sleeve, I suppose, a forbidden spell that was hidden away. And I suppose that is what he meant when he said he had something that had brought this far, and will he bring it, further for me and complete this mission for me? I suppose he means that this hidden spell, or this forbidden spell, that our MC can't even read yet, is his sort of ace up the hole that he was going to use on the goddess to defeat her if he got the chance. Which is also good, because it sort of makes up for RMC not being able to use his skills on the goddess, as we saw in episode 1, as he has a complete immunity to status ailments. So I guess that sets up the sort of ace up the hole that RMC will hopefully eventually use to end the suffering of this POS goddess. I do wonder, though, this Soul Eater, was it just there? Did the goddess, make these ruins? Did the goddess put this Soul Eater there in the first place? Maybe. I mean, I assume the Soul Eater is much weaker than the goddess, but I wonder who set these ruins up, because I can't imagine it's naturally occurring, right? I don't know, we'll have to see. It would be interesting, though, if we find out that the goddess made these ruins, or at least put the monsters in there, and then decided to use it as a dumping ground for unwanted people. And that would really make the goddess even more of a POS than she already is, which probably makes it somewhat likely that it is the case. Anyhow, though, a lot of things to think about this episode. Overall enjoyable to me, though some things still stand out to me that I don't like. First of all, the 3D or CGI, whatever else in the episode, I still just can't get over that much. It still takes me out. It still puts me off. I've never really liked 3D or that sort of thing in anime, and the direction for it in this one is kind of off-putting to me, but I can get through it. It's just a bit and I understand some people really hate it. I do too in many areas, but in this case, I'll stomach it. Anyhow, I'm also interested to see how the elf lady came to be where she is, why she is running, who she's running from, and how she will inevitably be our first elf waifu in our new party, starting in the next episode, I'm sure. Anyhow, though, what do you think of episode 2 of Failure Frame? Like it, hate it, leave all those thoughts down below. And if you have any other thoughts on my commentary or video here, leave those down below as well. Are you liking the show, hating it? Let me know. That being said, hope you have a nice day, keep watching anime, and I will see you in the next one. So, bye-bye.